Hey, play the game, do the crime, pay the time. You got to do what you got to do.
It's unfortunate that he stepped over the bounds, but when you're in office too long, this is what happens.
We have the strictest ethical code now of any county in Ohio. I'm happy. I think it was deserved, and I think the conduct was outrageous, and I'm glad it's being punished.
Former Cuyahoga County Commissioner Jimmy Dimora is in federal court right now in Akron, awaiting to learn his fate. Good evening, everyone. I'm Leon Bibb.
And I'm Lee Jordan. 4 months ago, a jury found Dimora guilty of 33 counts of bribery and racketeering. He faces up to 26 years behind bars. We've had the latest for you throughout the day, on air and online, and late this afternoon, 4 people were called on Dimora's behalf. We have team coverage with News Channel 5 Chief Investigator Ron Regan, who's been following this case from the beginning. He's outside the courtroom, and John Kosick has the answer to the question everyone's been asking. Where is former auditor Frank Russo? But let's begin with Ron. Ron, you spoke with one of the witnesses who testified on behalf of Dimora.
Yeah, let me get to him in just 1 second. Judge Sarah Leoy just adjourned for the day after calling 5 witnesses, and the witness you're referring to is the current president of the Bedford Heights Village Council, Philip Saunders. Philip Saunders was the first family friend to speak on behalf of Dimora, and when he left the courtroom here just minutes ago, I caught up with him. Here is what he had to say.
Could you tell me just one of the most important things you had to say?
But I think he's a fine man and was a good mayor for the city of Bedford Heights. And for what he's done for the city of Bedford Heights, it still stands here.
What were some of those examples?
Well, for example, the community center, the senior programs, the parks that we have, recreation parks, etc. I could go on for several more times.
And that was Philip Saunders, who is the president of the Bedford Heights Village Council, who spoke on behalf of Jimmy Dimora. Now, also another individual that spoke was a retired Cleveland Heights police officer, and most importantly, Lisa Dimora took the stand just a few minutes ago. She got emotional when describing her father as a loving father who never missed a birthday or an anniversary. Now, the way this is going to play out now, and as you can see behind me live, this is the Dimora family emerging, and in the lavender blouse toward the back, that is Lori Dimora, Jimmy Dimora's wife. The sons and daughter are accompanying her. They are coming out, as you can see, as a fairly protective group. They have had very little to say to the news media throughout this. We understand that Lori, while she wrote a very impassioned letter to the court on behalf of her husband, has opted not to speak to the court when this sentencing hearing resumes tomorrow. The other 2 sons, however, will speak, and we understand that will begin at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Again, you see Lori Dimora and the Dimora family and close relatives leaving the federal courthouse here in Akron. Tomorrow morning it resumes. Federal Judge Sarah Leoy will decide eventually by the end of the day tomorrow whether Mr. Dimora will spend anywhere from 22 to 26 years in federal prison for his corruption charges. Reporting live from Akron, I'm Chief Investigator Ron Regan.
Thank you, Ron. Jimmy Dimora will be the second key figure in the Cuyahoga County corruption case to be sentenced.
Former county auditor Frank Russo was sentenced to 22 years in prison on corruption-related charges. That was back in 2010. But Russo has yet to spend 1 day behind bars. News Channel 5's John Kosick joins us live. And John, we don't really know when Russo will report to prison?
Yeah, that's the reality at this point, Lee. Frank Russo was sentenced in December of 2010, 19 months ago, to nearly 22 years in prison. But as part of the plea deal that he struck at the time, he didn't have to report to prison until May of 2011. That was 14 months ago, and he is still a free man. Now, Frank Russo's freedom is due in large part not necessarily to his role as public official number 2, but prosecution witness number 1. It's a role he took in the trial of Jimmy Dimora, and it's a role he will still be taking in upcoming corruption trials slated for September and October. Russo's freedom due in part to his cooperation and part logistics. The federal prison he will be eventually serving time in is in Loretto, Pennsylvania, nearly 2 hours east of Pittsburgh. Now, prosecutors have told the judge in the past that having Russo free and in Northeast Ohio enables him to be available to meet with them and prepare for the upcoming trials. Now, in addition to remaining free all this time, one of the other benefits that Frank Russo hopes to get out of this cooperation is the possibility of seeing some time taken off that 22-year sentence that he eventually does face. Reporting live at the County Administration Building, John Kosick, News Channel 5.